successful, and that's toughness. I'm fortunate enough now to be going on my 15th year at the United States Military Academy and coaching here. And I believe I've got the greatest job in the world because I get to coach the toughest young people in the world. The toughest young people in the world. If you got a chance to see that Army lacrosse team this past year, 102-year history with 8 national championships in it. There's never been a team that's won more games in a single season than that group did this past year. And they were tough. They were tough. And that's the challenge I'm throwing down to you guys, is to be tough guys. Right? To be tough guys. Let me define and tell you what I mean by tough. Okay, what I mean by tough. Tough isn't, the Army team isn't out there hitting people and knocking people down, and that's showing how tough we are. That happens. Okay, that happens. Why I think our guys are so tough is they give 100% of the time. They give their greatest effort all of the time. Whether I'm there watching them or yelling at them, or they're just doing a drill on their own, they're giving their greatest effort. That's why they got a chance to come to the greatest school in the world, because they showed that toughness and they worked their tail off to get there. So you guys are young, and it's important that you practice as hard as you can when you have that opportunity. But the tougher guys will spend time outside of practice working on their game. What they're going to do is they're going to take their Fortnite game and put it on the back burner and pick up their stick and find a wall. Or even better yet, pick up their stick and call their buddy and bring them out. And then you go ahead and shoot and you pass and you work on your stick work. As you get older, tough guys spend time in the weight room, honing their bodies, getting stronger. That's what tough guys do, and it's important in lacrosse. But if you're a hockey player, it's just as important. If you're a football player, a soccer player, a basketball player, it's just as important. Be a tough guy in all of those sports. Give your greatest effort so you can reach your greatest potential. 100% of the time. Being tough in sports is really important. What I'm going to say to you next is even greater importance. So I need your eyes, man. Need your eyes. What I'm going to tell you, what's more important, fellas, is be a tough guy in the classroom. Once again, United States Military Academy, one of the greatest academic institutions in the world. You don't get here unless you're being tough in the classroom. And what do I mean by that? Exactly what I said before. 100% of the time. Giving your greatest effort in the classroom. Whether it's your most favorite subject or your least favorite subject. Whether you really like your teacher or you really don't care as much for your teacher. That's not an excuse. Give 100%. If you are capable of getting a 90, an 85 doesn't cut it. That's not being tough. Getting an 85 because Johnny got an 83 and going and telling mom, hey, I did better than Johnny did, that's the best I could do. When deep down inside, you know you could have done better had you studied more or worked harder. That's not being tough. Be a tough guy in the classroom. Right? Be a tough guy in every subject matter, not just your most favorite. The greatest joke in all of education, guys, is this. And I want to hear one guy ever use this excuse. The teacher doesn't like me. I've been in this business for 30 years, fellas. 30 years I've been in this business. I've never met a teacher who didn't like a student who sat in front, who paid attention, who raised their hand, who participated in class, who turned their homework in on time, who didn't jack around with their buddies in the back of the room, were courteous to everybody in the classroom, considerate, gentlemen. Never met a teacher who didn't like someone like that. So if you're saying the teacher doesn't like you, you should probably think about what you're not doing or what you could do better. Be a tough guy in the classroom, and then what you're going to do is you're going to give yourself more options. Hopefully it's West Point. Hopefully you come to West Point. If it's not your bag to come here, you still got great options because you were a tough guy in the classroom. You're the best grades you possibly can get. You've reached your greatest potential. So being a tough guy in the field is really important. Being a tough guy in the classroom is of greater importance. And what I'm going to say to you fellas last is the most important thing you'll hear at camp. So I got to have everybody right here. I got it. It's hot. I got a bald head. It's burning on my head. Eyes are right here, guys. Eyes are right here. Be a tough guy in life. Be a tough guy in life. What's that mean for a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old or 11-year-old? That means including people. Because it's a little tougher to do that. Somebody that doesn't walk like you or talk like you, maybe he doesn't look like you, or he doesn't have all the nice things that you have, find that person. He's sitting by himself at a lunchroom table, bring him over. Have him be part of your group. Be inclusive. Excluding people, that doesn't take much. That's not very tough. Including people, being aware of people around you. Being aware of how you talk to your buddies. Being aware of how you talk to everybody and making sure that they feel good about themselves so that you're not dragging them down by your words. And just because you get a couple chuckles out of your buddy and you're making fun of a guy and that kid feels terrible about himself, how tough is that? Not very. Not very. Be inclusive. Bring people in. Being a tough guy in life, fellas, means sticking up for people who are a little less fortunate than you. Don't have all the nice things that you do right here. You find one of your buddies bullying them or saying mean things to them, a tough guy will step in and tell his buddy, hey, knock it off. Knock it off. And the toughest of the tough guys takes that kid who's being made fun of, say, hey, you're with me. Come with me. Let's go hang out over here. Sit next to me. And they don't care what everybody else is saying, well, why are you doing that or why are you doing that? Because they're a tough guy. And it doesn't matter. They know what's right. They know what's right. So be a tough guy there, fellas. Stand up for the people who are a little less fortunate than you. And it's coming right down the turnpike here for you guys, is this. There's a lot of people who just don't feel good about themselves. So you know what they do? They start to turn to drugs, they start to turn to alcohol, and they don't feel great about themselves, so they're trying to find a way to start to feel better about who they are. And you know what those kind of guys who are down here feeling that way? They always want to drag somebody down with them. They always want a buddy to go do the same things, the same wrong things, because it helps you make them feel better. So they're just dragging people down. Tough guys can walk away from that. Tough guys say, hey, that's not for me. It's not taking me where I want to go. It's not what my parents would want me to do, and I don't care if they find out or not, I'm not going to be part of that. That's what tough guys do. And the toughest of the tough guys grabs their buddy and says, you're not going either. I don't care. I don't care what's happening here. And if you can't get through to your buddies, those tough guys, you know what they do? When they see something like that, somebody's going to drugs, somebody's going to alcohol, they just tell their parents. They let their parents know. Hey, Mom, Johnny's not going down the right path. You need to talk to their parents so that they know, so that they can help them. That's what tough guys do. That's what being a tough guy in life is for a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old. Sticking up for people who are less fortunate. And then just doing the right thing, whether your coach will know, whether your teacher will know, whether your parents will know. You just do the right thing, because that's the tough thing to do. The tough thing to do. And I can tell you this, fellas, you do the tough things, you do the tough things right here on the field, you do the tough things in the classroom, you do the tough things in life, you're going to bring a whole bunch of people up with you. Because deep down, everybody wants to be with a tough guy. Everybody wants to associate with somebody who has others' best interests. at heart. Everybody wants to be around a guy like that. And it might not be immediate, but eventually you start to bring a whole bunch of people up. And then it's your group, and then it's your class, and then you got a great effect in your school. You're not gonna reach everybody, fellas, right? But your actions, consistency, and being a tough guy will help bring everybody else up. All right, so the challenge has been laid down here, men, for another 365 days. Be a tough guy, right? Be a tough guy when you go to your next club lacrosse practice. Be a tough guy when you start soccer this year. Be a tough guy in September when you go back to school, right? And just be a tough guy every day, every day. So that's the challenge. You do that, guys, I said you're gonna feel great about yourself. And you're gonna make your parents very, very proud, very proud. Moms and dads, thank you so much for sending your sons here. Again, I can't tell you how great they were and how awesome they just were for those 4 days. As I said, not the easiest of things, hurting this many people, but they were outstanding. And I really appreciate the faith you have in the Army Lacrosse program to send your son here for 4 days, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see him, if not next summer, that you come out in the spring and support us right here and see a whole bunch of tough guys running around starting next February 8th. 211 days from now, we play UMass on this field at 12 o'clock. So maybe February, but we'll see how tough the parents are.